What a fabulous show opener. I absolutely love it. Oh, it's going to be a busy one. We have got some absolutely gorgeous brand new Groovi plates for you. And I believe we can go straight to Barbara live via Skype. Are you there, Barbara?
Good evening, Alex. Good to have your company today.
Likewise. I feel like it's been ages. And can I say, I adore your top. I love what you're wearing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice and loose.
So, Barbara, with the one-day special, I just wondered if you could talk us through kind of what inspired you to do this. We've got our grid duets, and we're calling them, we've also got the Italian cities in here.
That's right, yes. So we've got Rome and Florence and Naples and Venice. And the idea here is our dear friend Josie Davidson. She is our specialist in grids, and you will have already been familiar perhaps with the queens and the kings and the princes and so up until now all the grids that we've brought to Hochanda with from Josie, they've always been designed on a straight grid.
Yeah.
And this time the Italian ones, now this is the first time that we're bringing you grid work that's been designed on a diagonal grid. I'll explain more of that later.
Yeah.
But for the traditional parchers, this is really groundbreaking, because I'm told that usually when you design grids on a diagonal, it's super difficult. And of course, with these particular plates, it isn't. But we'll get into that in a minute.
Lovely. Shall we see samples to see what you can achieve with them?
Fantastic idea. Let's just have a look at some samples and then we can get into the hows. Yes, so this one is Rome, which is the one that I'm going to go to here, which is superb. And you can see with the slits in this particular one, it lends itself absolutely fantastic to lacing ribbon through.
Oh, what
it's
a good
really
idea.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's lovely. And that one's by Josie. And then this one is by Jane.
Yeah, so that one there, that one is going to be Florence, if I'm not mistaken. But I can't say off the top of my head from where I am. That's Jane, that's Colin, her husband. Isn't that beautiful?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
stunning.
and she's using one of our floral alphabet, the ABC, and that's also on the show, which I drew myself. So it's a bit of a collaboration here this evening.
It is, it's beautiful. And this one, moving on to the next one, is by Karen.
Yeah, that's another gorgeous one. That's Naples, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so this is the Naples plate. P, again, poppies. Because when I illustrated the plates, the floral plates, obviously they're alphabetically logical. So yeah, the C for Colin was cornflower, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, do have a look on the website for that lovely floral alphabet selection. There we go.
There you go. B, bougainvillea. and if we look at the plate there, I have a feeling that one now, I think it could be Venice.
Yes, I'm just going to check myself. Yep, gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. So if you do want the alphabets and the numbers, we have a big collection for you with a massive, if you are a Freedom member, £70 and 76 pence saving with all of the carryovers, just so you know. So that is really cool, isn't it? Shall I do? Oh yes. Also, just to mention, we've also got the borders, haven't we, Barbara?
Yes, that's right. Now, this is always when we bring out a set of plates, we also design an alphabet that kind of blends in really beautifully with the style of the patterns that Josie's designed. And this is no different. So, of course, you've got uppercase, lowercase in two borders, and you've got your numbers as well. I particularly like this. It's got a very Italian kind of Byzantine kind of style. I like it a lot.
Absolutely. Look at this. So that is in with the one-day special that we've got. Shall I do just a couple more samples, or would you like to crack on with the demos? What do you fancy?
I think let's have a look at a couple of samples, because they really do say it all, don't they?
Yes. So this one is also by Karen.
Oh, look at that.
I know. That is stunning. So yeah.
There you go. D for Dad, Daisy.
Yeah. And this one is Florence.
That's Florence.
Yep. And if I go back to this one, this is the first one. This one's by Maggie. And which one's she using here?
That's Rome.
Thank you.
Rome.
Yeah.
And that is using the allium, or the A for agapanthus, or allium. Yeah.
Excellent.
I know that because I drew it.
Yeah, I like it. This next sample is by Josie. Jane Telford.
I for Iris.
Yep.
There you go. That's Naples in the background. But you can see, and this is what I'm going to show you, is how they're so beautiful, these frames. They're absolutely glorious. And when you get in tight on this one, you will also see how they are actually designed on a diagonal grid.
Look
there
at
you
that.
are.
Yeah.
Now you can see perfectly. Even when you look at the little flowers in the background behind the iris, that has been done on the grid. And that's where you can see that the dots are offset and therefore they are diagonal.
Beautiful. I'll do one more, shall I? This one's by Francis.
Yes, please. Absolutely gorgeous. Isn't that lovely? Lily of the Valley.
Yeah.
Live, laugh, love.
And
gorgeous. And if I'm not mistaken, which one have we used there?
Venice.
Florence. Is it Venice? Yes, Venice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It is. It's Venice. Beautiful.
Isn't
Just
it?
beautiful.
Gorgeous. By the way, don't forget at home that you have got your wonderful gift with purchase. It's your favourites, aren't they? These beautiful papers, Barbara.
Yeah, they're lovely, and they really bring the grid work to life. You'll see when you overlay on this in the background, it just is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
Stunning. So it's one per customer. So if you haven't yet bought anything from the lovely Clarity shows, then you'll be in with a chance of getting this. So for your one-day special, you've got a massive £16 saving here. You've got those beautiful 4 plates. Barbara's going to show us how they work. And you're getting the borders. £47.94, £16 saving. 491024 is the item number. Now the phone lines... we are 20% of the stock gone in 7 minutes. Busy already.
Oh, my word. Here we go.
Here we go.
Do you know, Linda said this to me. Linda Williams and Josie said this. She said traditional parchers will be waiting because it's been a year since we brought out any grids. The last grids we brought out were last birthday, I think.
Yeah.
So it was a year ago. And so we've waited now, and this time we've brought them out as diagonals. And Linda and Josie both said they predicted that this would happen because they said that diagonal grid work is so difficult. If you're trying to count, I'll show you what I mean by that, and you're trying to do it the traditional way, you're guaranteed to go wrong. And I thought, why would you do that then?
Yeah.
And so they said they'll be chomping at the bit for these particular diagonal grids. So let me show you what I'm talking about for those uninitiated, the good people that are watching who have no idea what this is all about.
Okay.
Can I please show?
Can I say one thing?
Yes, please.
Happy 27th.
I know, you wouldn't believe I was only 27 years old, would you?
Right, over to you then, Barbara.
Thank you very much. And on behalf of Clarity, may I say thank you very much to you and to Hochanda for putting together such a fantastic birthday party for us. I know that Lucy Ann and the team have been working tirelessly to put this together. It doesn't happen overnight, so thank you.
Cool.
Right, now, I thought a good starting place would be to look at the actual plate itself. Let's just look at the one that I'm going to use, and then you'll see what this is all about. Now, what you'll see here is it's an A5 square plate, and it sits inside the Groovi plate mate from the starter kit. Now, up until now, when you've seen grids from us, they look a little bit different. So you see this one here, it comes around, it's got 2 corners. And this side here is embossed as like a Groovi plate, and this side is perforated. So this one's got all the holes in it, and this one's got the engraving in it. Now, if we just move this to one side and look, for example, at Elizabeth or at Anne, these ones were designed on a straight grid. And they're a little bit different because you only get one corner, do you see? And so this involved having to go round 4 times, and then also having to flip the plate. So in my opinion, these ones are a lot easier because you get 2 corners for a start. And in fact, the other thing that's interesting is you get 2 patterns. So if you look at this, just look at this one here. Let's turn this over so we're actually on the embossing side. Right, we're on the back now. Clearly we're on the back, so it says Rome back to front. But what you'll see here is that look at the pattern along here and the pattern along there, they're different. You see, these are two going that way, and these are for let's say, for threading ribbon, you'll see this is different. Ignore this, this is the perforating. So let me show you how oh, and also what I wanted to point out, you see these groovy lines along here?
Yes.
They're just brilliant. Let's say, for example, you don't want to picot cut all the way around the outside here. Let's say you don't want to do that. Then you can cut this with a blade. So you've got just a straight edge if you don't want it all fancy picot cut round the outside. So that was one thing I wanted to point out. Now, the way this works, let's just take a look at this for a moment, because I just want to explain it as clearly as I possibly can. If we take, for example, a piece of artwork that's using this, let's look at this one that Josie's done for us, and you'll see that this here is this here, okay, just like the samples that you were just showing us, Alex.
Yep.
Now, it's similarly, let me go, for example, to this one, because this is when it gets interesting. We're going to pursue this one, but I want to show you this one, because this is using one of our lovely Marina Fedotova poppets. You know, the parchment art that we were doing earlier?
Yes.
That's printed. But, you see, now, and this is what I think is really, really brilliant, is this little section here that Tina's used is from this little section here. That's exactly what it is. If I elaborate a little bit further, if I take, for example, the piece that she's prepared, you can see it much better now. So what I'm trying to say is you don't always have to go all the way around. You can use parts. And what's so clever is that she's just cut a little piece of parchment, look, like that. If you're wondering what this is here, this is just a little strip of parchment.
Okay.
Look. And she's even given me a little, like an arrow, easier for threading. And then you just go in here, look at this, turn it round. I just wanted to explain that it doesn't always have to go all the way around. Look, isn't this wonderful?
It's cool, Barbara.
And then you just, I think it's brilliant. So the Rome plate lends itself beautifully to this, look. And what's cool as well is that the outside is just using one of our nested extension, one of our scallop plates. So don't think for a minute that when you have a plate in front of you that you have to do the full 9 yards and go all the way around. This isn't so. Now, the other thing I wanted to explain is size before we get started. So here, for example, Josie, she's constructed the frame to go around Joy. Right, so let's take Joy. This is the size. It's been picot cut out. Right, let me just, I digress a little bit, but I think it's worth flagging this up. If I take these are a must-have now, right? So the nested square picot cut die set, got to be done. And these now, these cut out, look, brilliantly. You just pick the size you want, run it through a die cut machine, and you've got your outside. And the thing about this is, it already looks as if you picot cut it. So you don't have, let me just see, you don't have to go all the way around the outside. Boom. Time saver. Yep. Time saver. So the fresh cut dies are well worth adding to your basket. They really, really are. If we come back now, I've got this piece, let's say. In fact, I digress a little bit again, but I wanted to show you something else. What I've done, I started, right, I've got Joe, there's Joy, but you'll notice that my O is bigger, right? Now, I know, again, I'm digressing, but I wanted to show you the alphabet, because when you buy the alphabet, you don't only get the letter, you get 4 other letters. So you get 5 A's, you get 5 B's. And if we go to all the different letters come in here, if we go to the Y, right, yarrow, If we go to this one, what you'll see is Josie, she used this one, right? And I'm going to use this one because that's the one I went to a larger O. Do you see what I mean?
I
so
do.
you can pick your letters absolutely perfectly. You'll see here, I used the large one. There we are. So when I go to the Y, I'm going to use the large one, actually, and it will fit in there like a treat. Do you see?
Yes.
And it looks so different to this Joy. It looks much, yeah, it just looks, what I did was to cram it in true Groovi style, I put the O in behind the leaves, you see, so to give myself a bit of space. So I just wanted to explain how this alphabet came about as well. So that's on the show, and that's going to be there for 5 hours. Beautiful thing, really. But what I want to do to protect my artwork, when I Picot cut it out, I cut out a piece of white card to go with it. Right, and that's going to be what I use as my template. Rather than using my nice piece of parchment to work out the size, and then get all hot and sweaty and then crunch it, I'll put that in a safe place, and I'm going to use this piece. That's what I'm talking about. So this is going to show me how large my grid has to be. Does that make sense?
It does.
Right, now, just bear with me 1 second, because before I do this, I want to explain something else, because people are going to say, well, where's the grid even come from? So let me just put this to one side for a minute. These are what I call basic grids.
Right.
And you've got one that's straight, horizontal, vertical, and then you've got one that's offset, in other words, diagonal. And if we look at these two up close, let me come into this camera, perhaps you can see the difference. That's definitely straight, left, right, and this one is definitely offset, in other words, diagonal. Just look at the top edge and it will tell you. It goes down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So these are diagonal. And what Josie has done, see, in the good old days, can you believe, when parchers used to create a border like this, they would take, and not even transparent, they would take a metal one of these with loads of holes in, and then they'd start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, right, 1, 2, get 1, 2, miss 1, 1, 2, 3, miss 2, 1, 2. What chance have you got?
Oof.
I would say nada.
Yeah.
Right? Can you imagine? So what Josie's done is she's taken a grid like this, and she's then electronically, well, no, actually, she did it physically. She's physically made the pattern out of this grid. So when we say this one has been designed on the diagonal, that's what we're talking about, as opposed to the other ones which have been designed on the straight. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Good, good. Because I don't want to overcomplicate it, because it's not actually complicated. This actually simplifies things massively. Let me take, for example, let's say we want to do this, and we want to go all the way around. So then you say to yourself, right, well, how do I figure out where to go? Mm-hmm. Right. So the first thing I want to show you is this. This is my suggestion. Okay. First of all, we're going to use the grid first. Now, some people prefer to use the perforating first and then go to the embossing. Personally, I prefer to use this first. So I'm just going to establish that stays in place and it doesn't move at all. Then I'm going to take my parchment, and I know it needs to be A4. It needs to be this big. Look how big this pattern is that I'm going to be making. I mean, this isn't going to happen in half an hour, is it? This is a job.
Yeah.
So I need a piece of A4 parchment, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the plate itself to help me already with my alignment. So I'm going to take my Groovi tabs, and the one thing that I've figured out with all parchment art, really, but certainly with grid work and with multi-needle tool work, is you take your time.
Yeah.
You take your time. You do. You have to, Alex. If you think you're going to whittle round this, you're mistaken. You have to give yourself the time. So we secure the artwork, right? Now, let's have a look. Think it through. Just think it through for a minute. We've got to go around here, along there. We've got to shuffle along. We've got to come round the corner. Then we've got to come round this corner, and we've got to come back up to this corner again. That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot. So the way to, for me, the way that I think is an intelligent move is to put registration marks in. So to establish the outside before I do the infill. When I say registration marks, let me show you. You see little bits? I haven't done the whole thing. I've just done a little bit in the corner, and I've gone along, and then I've done a little bit more, and I've extended it. If I'm going to make a mistake, I'd rather make a mistake with registration marks than go all the way round like that and then figure out that I'm out by one.
Oh, I'd be gutted.
Okay. Yes, gutted. Gutted. And I speak from experience. So now the thing about this is, obviously, in a perfect world, we'd have one the size of a coffee table. We'd have nested ones, wouldn't we? But they'd be really expensive to produce. So what we have to do is we have to put little extensions on. And it depends entirely on the size of the artwork. So, for example, if we're doing joy, then we need a piece this size. Let's say we want to change and we want to take a little Fedotova image, then we take the back of the cutout like that, and then that's going to be my template to work around. I need something in the middle to work around if I'm going to be in with a chance. Do you see what I'm getting at? But I'd never use the original artwork. I would always use the piece of paper. Mm-hmm. So let me go to this one, right, which is the one that we're going with. And I'm just going to take a Groovi tab and I'll just get it started and then I'll show you how it works. So let's say, for example, just loosely, it's going to be, I just need it for orientation. That's it. And then I'm going to take, I've got choices now. I can either take my number 2, like from the starter kit, we've got one with a stylus, and then we've got the number 2 with a little ball tool, and that will give me a lovely white. It's great for the starter kit. Yeah. Or I can use the 1.5 Pergamano tool. They give me the same. They give me the same thing. Right. So what I'm going to do now is settle down, and this is in place, and I'm going to give myself registration marks. So I'll start up here. Now, some people might prefer to use a light wave at this point, right? Me personally, I can do this quite happily without a light wave. See, now what I'm doing now is I'm giving myself registration marks, Alex. Yep. So I'll do this one, right? And then the more registration marks I give myself, the easier it will be. So, for example, these dots here, this zigzag along here, that'll be useful. Yeah. Right, so I can go along here and I can go to the end. It depends. The faster you try and do this, the less likely you are to get it right. So trying to do this on live TV is no mean feat. Bless you. This one is a great registration mark. Right, and another thing that I need, because I'm getting really sweaty hands, is, there you go, I'm going to use a Groovi guard. And when I lean on that, it helps me immensely. So you see, so I go along here, and then what I'll do is, I'll keep going. Now I'm going to talk this through so that you understand what I'm doing. So you make registration marks. That'll go in here. And I'll just, if I do this, then it just gives me, let me do this corner here. So now I've got lots of areas to help me stay straight. Mm-hmm. I could go all the way along here, like this as well. Okay. So let's just say I've gone all the way along there, all the way along here, all the way along here. Right, and then what I'm going to do when I've done that, and I'm going to talk this through now, because otherwise we could spend the whole hour. The worst part, right, Alex? Yeah. The worst bit of this, to me, is getting the registration marks in place. Once you get these in place, this is the thinking part. But it still beats, in my opinion, it still beats massively having to take the grid, you know, that solid grid. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'd bother, to be honest, to take a solid grid and then try and count out a beautiful pattern within there. I mean, yeah, but no but. Yeah. So So for me, and I think for most parchers, this is heaven sent. And the most challenging part is the first bit, when you put the registration marks in place to get it straight. And I'll just talk you through it now.
Okay.
And then maybe we can go to the next thing, because this is going to take way too long otherwise. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lift this up, right? So I'll take this. Let me just get rid of some of these tabs now, because I'm going to talk this through. Otherwise, we're never going to see anything. And then what I'm going to do, you see, is I'm going to come along. So I shuffle along until I get to there. So I do let's say I've got the registration, and I line up the dots exactly, and they fall in, because they're embossed, they fall straight into place. You see?
Yep.
So I've got all my registration marks in place. I set that down. I'm happy with the line. I use this edge along here to make sure I'm still straight. And then I go again. So I go all the way along again, right? Da, 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 da. And then I go again until I turn the corner. And then once I've turned the corner, right, then I'm off and running then. So then I turn around, and then I start going in this direction. When I go in this direction, I have to shuffle along quite a lot. So I go 3 at a time, 3 at a time, 3 at a time. And that gives me loads of registration. So I shuffle along until I get to the other end. Then the only thing I've got to do once I've got to there, right? I know you're thinking she cheated. No, I didn't. I didn't. I did this all this afternoon. I did it all. I did, honest, I did. And then as you go round and round, then when you get to the other half, because it's symmetrical, literally, you just continue. You go round the second side, you go around the third side, and then, right, as if by magic, vroom, right, it fits. Look,
Excellent.
I know, I can't believe it.
Brilliant.
So now I've gone all the way round, and let's say I finished this off, you see, and I've got a perfect, what I would call a template. And this is going to be for my registration. Once I've done that, and this is where we're going to go now, we're going to go to the perforating. So, Alex, if you wanted to go and have a little chat down the counter, then I'll finish this off, shall I? Quickly.
Sounds like a really good idea. Thank you, Barbara. And I think that's genius, doing those registration marks. Then you've got literally your border to sort of work in. Yeah, and no, I would not want to use the other plates. No, life's too short. Right then, the one-day special is absolutely flying out the door. 40% has gone in 27 minutes. Yes, 40%. We knew it was going to be busy, so please make sure you're checking out your baskets. I mean, look at what you can achieve now with these beautiful, beautiful plates. And of course, you can see they go fantastically with the floral alphabet and of course the floral numbers, which are at the bottom of the screen. We're going to have a look at those in just a short while, but they are absolutely stunning, stunning plates. They really are. Plus, you're also going to get the 2 borders. There we go, with the alphabet on in uppercase, lowercase, and you've got the numbers. And I think Barbara's absolutely spot on. It does have a sort of an Italian feel to it with that lovely font. Samples, always good to do samples. So first, we'll take you to Rome. And this one is done by Maggie. And yeah, again, look at that beautiful detail. I love the fact that you can thread ribbon through it. I wouldn't have thought of that, but actually, it's a brilliant idea. Then, where are we going to? We're going to Venice, and this one is by Chris. Look at that detail. So it's really going to help you with your pattern building, your borders, and also your picot cutting. But I just love, love, love the designs. Then next one, we are going to, oh sorry, that was Florence, I do apologise. Then next one we're going to is Naples. Lovely. This one is by Sheila. Again, look at that detail. You could almost create a star effect, couldn't you? Isn't that wonderful? And then the next one, thank you, Ben's telling me which ones they are. This is good. This one is by Glynis, and this one, now we're going to Venice. So again, you could just emboss or you could picot cut. The choice is yours. Let's do a couple more because the samples are just amazing, aren't they? So here again, we are going to Rome, and this one is by Karen. Look at that again, you could thread those ribbons through. It's beautiful. And look, see, not using the top bit, you don't, as Barbara said, you don't have to. Then have I already shown you that? I think I showed you that one. Let me show you this one, which is by Linda. And this one is Naples. I love you get the sort of little spikes at the edge with this one. Then next one. Here we go. This one is by Karen, which is absolutely gorgeous. And then last one then, another one by Karen, but aren't these samples absolutely divine? Right then, so remember we are 40% of the stock gone in just half an hour. There's a £16 saving, good saving, eh? £47.94, and you've got 2 flexi buys. So for your first instalment today, £23.97. We will send this out to you. You can play and make the most amazing pieces of artwork. And of course, Barbara does not mind if you make to sell at all with your beautiful cards and whatever you are making. 491024 is the item number. Lovely. Next then, so you've been seeing a lot of the beautiful artwork from Barbara with the floral alphabet and numbers being used because they fit brilliantly, don't they, into what you create with the one-day special. So we are 30% of the stock gone of this bumper collection. Now, if you were to buy, you also get the 2 folders, they look like a seesaw, and you get the II book, which is loads of inspiration in there, which is just brilliant. Now, if you were to go for, you can get the alphabet individually, and this has a saving that carries over. I mean, just look at all that detail. Okay, you've got a £28 saving on this. Absolutely glorious. And you'll get that folder as well. Oh, A for Alex. Or, of course, all the gorgeous florals. There's B for Ben. Yes, indeed. But anyway, there's a £28 saving on your floral alphabet with the storage folder. Then, if we go to the numbers, the floral numbers, this one will also have a saving. Here we go. Bringing up the numbers just in case you want them individually. So there's a £15 saving on this. And again, you get your folder. However, if you want it all, and don't we as crafters, that, Paul likes this, that 28 saving carries over. Whoop, and that £15 saving carries over. Whoop. And then on the complete collection where you get all the numbers, all the letters, the 2 storage folders and the II book, you get a further £12 saving. But if you're a Freedom member, it's even better. So with all of the discounts as a Freedom member, it is a whopping £70 and 6 pence, 6 pence very important, £70 and 6 pence saving that you are getting. That is incredible. It's 895621 and you are also getting Flexi Buy, 3 payments of £47 and 28 pence to get it all. Lovely. Barbara, did you want to show us the II book?
I did, yeah. I thought while you were looking at that, I've actually got the original with me, but I think we'll just look at the little book because what's really fabulous with this, right, is that it's a compendium of art by all of the design team. But you'll see as well there are ingredients, there are instructions, but what you'll see is it's all about the framing. Have a look, and now you get to. This is the brilliant part. These are actually Josie's, a lot of these are made with Josie's grids. So you'll see, here's one of Josie's grids. So they lend themselves absolutely beautifully. Look, there's another one. And what I like, right, it's just a beautiful book. And look, there's another one. So these grids, they lend themselves so there. Look at that one.
Nice.
Isn't that lovely?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Now this one, let me show you this one and then I'll stop there for a moment because we've got 5 hours of this. If you look at that one, what blows me away? Who did this one? Karen Jackson. Right, now look at this. She's actually done the centerpiece on the same piece of parchment as she's done the grid work. That's brave, I think. Right. So me personally, right, I tend to do the artwork on little pieces and then put them on top. I overlay them just because I'm not that brave yet. And I think if you're starting out, to me, it makes total sense to do I wanted to show you, because let's say, for example, I take the opportunity now to show you the 4 different plates.
Yeah.
So this is Naples, for example. But now, for example, if I take these little poppets, you'll see that they sit in there beautifully. So there's just Picot cut out. Look, a little bit of white work, beautiful border around the outside, Bob's your uncle. But what I also like is if you take a larger one. So this one's got quite a frame around it, but you could take a larger one and almost like partially cover up the frame. That looks so pretty as well.
Yeah.
Right, it doesn't have to be like in the middle. So then if we take the next one, this is Venice. So have a look at the outside, it's just beautiful. Right, let's stick with a smaller one so you can see it. And we can pop that in there like so. Brad's sorted. See, now I'd be, this is just perfect for this kind of background. So the time you save doing this, you can invest in your grid work. This is Rome, the one we're working with.
Yeah.
Amazing. One with the ribbon, like that. That's the one we're going to come back to. So I just wanted to show you that as well. And then Florence. And I think I have to say I do like Florence.
Aww.
Don't you?
Yeah. Well, I'd love to
What
go.
I love about it is the different design. See, now when I say different design, if you look, let's come up close with this one. If you look along the bottom here, you see it looks like, look, still got a pulse, still going, okay? But here is a zigzag. Look.
Yeah.
And so they're different patterns. And it's this inner edge that shows you very clearly that this is a diagonal. Very much so. Okay, I love that. I love that. I just love that it's so complex and so intricate, and yet it's so achievable. Now, you may have noticed I've got my old light wave out now.
You have?
And the reason for that, let me just regroup. I'll put that to one side. I'll take my... what's this thing? Groovi Plate Mate. I'm going to take my Groovi Plate Mate. But what I want to do is I'm going to, just let me lean across here. I want to use a superfoam mat. Okay, and the superfoam mat, because I'm going to perforate now, it goes underneath. But what's good about it is when I put the light wave on, it diffuses the light, but it doesn't make it darker. Okay, it doesn't make it any less powerful, if you like. So what I'm going to do now is I'll talk to you before I go to the light, and we're going to perforate. Now, we don't have to, it doesn't matter which side because it's symmetrical. But so I'll just go in with Rome, like so. And then what I'll do is I'll line up, let's have a look first. I'll line this up and I'll show you. So this now, here are the perforations. And you can see that let me come into this particular camera and you'll see that I flipped it because I'm perforating from the front. So this feels like braille now. So I embossed it from the back, it's flat. Now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do my perforating from the front, because otherwise, I don't know if you can see this, but it gets really gritty. You can feel it's like sandpaper.
Yeah.
So that becomes the back. Now, if we were going to do any colouring on this at all, not that you'd want to, but you do all your colouring and your white work before this. Now, let's have a look. Let me just get my eye in. And what I want to do is, because the way it works is that and you'll see it in a minute, the dots, or the embossed dots that we've just done, they sit in between the holes. Let me just attach it and then I can show you. It's easier if and what's great is because Josie's already done some for me, it just sits, it just drops into the holes brilliantly. Right, so what you'll see now, I wonder if you can see this from above. No, we're not close enough really, are we? Better from this angle. What you've got now is, if I take my 1 needle bold or my 2 needle bold Pergamano tool. Let's do the 1 needle. I find it faster. I mean, I watched Josie do this, and she's like a pneumatic drill. She's like that. It's like a time machine when she goes. But I mean, you know, there you go, practice, isn't it? Practice, practice, practice. Me, I'm still happy when I can find the hole with the tool, so to speak. Right, so moving on. What I'm going to do now, you see all the embossed dots, I can't go wrong. Where there's a hole, I can go through. And what you'll find is when you look at this, what you'll see is that you can't see this very well, can you?
Oh, we can, honest.
Can you?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so what you'll find is where it's black, where it's dark,
Yeah.
that means I've embossed it.
Right.
And where it's lighter, that's where there are holes. And that means that I can go through now with my one needle bowl tool.
Yeah.
And because I've got the super foam underneath the grid, otherwise I'd keep tapping on the light wave.
Got you.
Now, I wouldn't feel, see, if I try to emboss where there's if I try to perforate where there's an emboss, like a little white dot, there's no hole, so it won't go through.
Right.
So you can only perforate, you can only go through where you're supposed to go through. You can't go wrong.
I like that.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, yeah.
Wunderbar. Wunderbar.
Barbara.
You can't go wrong.
I like that.
Right. So that's what I meant. That's what I meant with when I said, once you've done your registration marks and you've done all your embossing, the perforating is a piece of cake. So literally, because all you've got to do is line up the dots, and it takes a bit of getting used to that the perforations, they go in the area that isn't embossed, you see?
Yeah.
And then you just take your needle tool and off you go. There you go. That easy. So if you wanted to have a look at a couple of beautiful samples, I'll just whiz round this, shall I? And then we can come back and I'll show you how to do the cutting.
Sounds like a plan. But I really
Cool.
like the fact you can't go wrong, which is excellent, especially because you're working on such beautiful artwork. We have updates, big ones. So for the one-day special, we are over half the stock gone, and we have a very, very deep stock because, again, this is meant to last the course of 24 hours. You've been waiting for this. You've been waiting for these beautiful diagonal designs because the creations, the artwork is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so also we are half the stock gone of our alphabet floral, beautiful floral alphabets and numbers that do come with the 2 folders. I'll just run over here, and the II book that Barbara was flicking through just a minute ago. Now, with all the savings that carry over with your complete collection as a Freedom member, it ends up being a whopping £70. And was that 76? I thought it was just 6p. Oh, there's an extra 70p. £70 and 76 pence off, and it's on Flexi Buy also. 3 payments of, it'll swizzle round, there you go, £47 and 28 pence, 895621. Now, going back to samples, this is lovely actually. So obviously I will show you samples live, but the tech team have also done a really nice video of some of the samples that we have got here. So let's take a little look. video, and can I say, what lovely calming music that was. Now, having said that though, it's not calm on the phone lines. It is extremely busy out there. Please do check out your baskets. As I said, we are over half the stock on the one-day special and your beautiful floral alphabet and numbers collection. So possibly you are going for them hand in hand, because obviously with Flexi Buy, it opens up your Flexi order, you know, basket and everything. Really, really good. Are you ready for me to hand back to you, Barbara?
I am, love.
Cool.
I am, love. Do you know, I have to tell you, I was so nervous around this show.
Oh, bless you.
Because I'm not a parching expert. You know, I'm not. I only started parchment art when we started the Groovi system. But for me to be able to launch, I mean, obviously with help from Josie, she designed these things, you know, but for me to be able to actually execute this, to be able to do this job with ease, I mean, you do need, I would say, a lightweight is worth having when it comes to grid work. If you haven't got one, worth thinking about, makes a big difference. I can get away with the embossing when I'm using the number 2 to do the dotting, right, the embossing, the white work, but when it comes to doing the perforating, oh, what a difference it makes when you've got a light wave. It makes a huge difference. But I'm so excited that everybody's enjoying Josie's. We had a little conversation today on the telephone, and you know, there's a lot riding on this, you know, and she's worked so hard, we all have, to get this right. So it's brilliant when we hear that you see the magic of these. These are ingenious. I think there's no other word for it. They're ingenious.
Absolutely.
You know? And now I want to show you how to cut out. Yeah, and now who thought that I'd ever be able to do that? But let me show you how easy it is now. So, for example, we've done all our perforating, let's say, right? And now we're going to cut out. So my suggestion is, for example, we're going to cut out those little stars here. If I come in, let's come in on this camera here.
Okay.
Let's see, if I stand up and come a bit closer, I might be able to help. Is that a help? Yeah. Yeah. Right, so now, for example, I'm going to come in and I'm cutting over the waist. So I'm just going to rotate, and I'm using the simple exclusives, the Pergamano scissors. Yeah. The ring locks, I've got them as well, but I find the ring locks, they work beautifully. If you've got slightly larger fingers or dexterity issues, I find often people enjoy the ring lock. See, look. Yep. Did you see that?
Out. That's great.
Did you see me take the little star piece out? Let me do this long piece for you.
Sure.
So you can see this. And the idea is that what you're doing is, let me just take my finger out of the way. You're cutting over, you keep the scissors over the waist, right? So the bit that's going to fall out. And all I'm doing is put the scissors in and snip. So I'm a lefty as well. See, and I lean until I see the V, and then I snip. So I go in the holes, lean and snip. In, then I lean away. I lean into what I've just cut out. Can you see this all right?
Yeah. Oh,
there you go.
I've just realised, Barbara, your mantra's changed, because it used to be in, twist and snip. So now it's lean and snip.
Yeah, I lean away from myself. Yeah. Look. And then I go in, lean and snip. Then I turn it round. And of course, I'm cutting from the front, right? And then I just go like that. And again, you watch the experts. Once you get in the rhythm, I mean, standing in front of a camera, leaning over, trying to make sure that you can see what I'm doing isn't exactly what I would call relaxing. But I just want to show you, if I can do it, then it is achievable. Yeah. You know, hang on, let me just put my eye in. Right, it so is. There you go. And then out that comes. There you go. And then I've taken that centerpiece out. Oh, there it is. There you go. So you go all the way round. Yeah. Right. So you book a week's holiday, and then you start. Right. And then you ring your boss and you say, I'm afraid I'm going to have another week off because I've got an important job on. Yeah. No, honestly, when you see the experts doing this, it's unbelievable, the speed. And I'm quite fast myself. Once I get in the groove, once I get going, you get into a rhythm, and then it's just snip, 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 snip. It's quite satisfaction. It's quite satisfying. Have you done the snipping yet, Alex?
Yes, a little bit. I did it with Paul, and he was teaching me. We had this really nice session. It was a while ago. But we were sat together at a table, and he was teaching me all the different tricks and things. And then I was trying out the different the scissors, and I discovered that I went through all three, because there's three, isn't there? Yeah, and I discovered in the end. So I started with yours, tried the other two, and then I ended up going back to yours, the exclusives.
You like them as well? Yeah, and they're the least expensive ones as well. The others are quite expensive. They're in, they're a considered purchase. Yeah. But these ones do the trick for me. And the other thing is, I learned how to hold them very differently. Yeah. Linda Williams and Tina, they hold them so that the curve on the scissors points upwards. And so just humour me here. I put my thumb in there. I put my other finger in there. These fingers hold it so that if you see what I'm doing here, my thumb goes in there, my forefinger goes in there. I've got the curve on it like that. I use these fingers to control so that when I'm snipping, have we got time for this? We have
3 minutes left, Barbara.
But you can see now that that's why, because I'm not doing the traditional parches, I used to hold it like that. Yeah. And I'd cramp up. I thought, there's no way. Can you imagine? I'd need a wrist surgery to get round in. But if you hold it like that, you don't have to lean very far, because you've already got the curve. It's already there. So you're just scooping it up and looking for the V. You scoop it up and you look for the V, and then my finger. What I find is, after about, it all gets a bit, like from there. But when you buy the scissors, you get a piece of this with it. Okay. And you can actually, if you prefer, you can lean on that like so. Oh, that's good. And then you can just, I prefer to be able to feel what I'm doing. Yeah. But once you draw blood, you really ought to use this.
Yes, definitely. Bless you, Barbara. Now, we have another update for everybody, because we are now 60% of the one-day special gone. 60% gone. And we are 2/3 of the floral alphabet numbers gone of the complete collection. So it's been a really, really busy hour, Barbara.
Fantastic. And can I please say congratulations to Josie Davison, because I know she's watching, and thank you very, very much, Josie, for your inspiration. She's just fabulous. And she, when you see what she can create out of a load of holes in a grid, is quite spectacular, isn't it? Marvelous. So thank you for making it so achievable for us, Josie.
Oh, thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you very much for joining us. Do you want to look with some samples with me up to the end?
Fantastic idea. And then at 8 o'clock, it's going to be Paul.
Yes.
So that he's going to take you through the night, so to speak. And then I'm on again at 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Mopping up, I think it's going to be called, because I don't know how much there'll be left then. And also many, many thanks to Tina, because she's done some wonderful samples, and Josie has, the great teamwork. Honeysuckle, H for honeysuckle, isn't it lovely?
That's gorgeous. And this one's by Frances, and she's using the Rome as well.
Do you know what I love is all these traditional parches, Alex. This has been, what are we now, nearly 5 years into our Groovi journey? Yes. And these are traditional parches that have embraced the Groovi system. When we first came out, we came out under quite a lot of fire from the trad parchers. And now you've got Linda and Josie, and most of the people on our team are trad parchers. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's so cool. And it's just so nice. Like you say, they've really embraced it. But I mean, the thing is, you can create the most exquisite pieces of artwork. I mean, this one's by Linda, actually.
And we always said, that'll be Linda Page, we always said that, you know, the Groovi system, it just is the stepping stone into traditional parchment. You know, everybody said we were cheating when we first brought it out. So we're not cheating.
No.
We're just trying to make sure that the craft doesn't die. And the worst part was the line art. So we've sorted that out. And now everybody's doing the cutting and the embossing and the perforating. And then Josie came along and said, well, what about this idea? Boom. And now we're facilitating that, you see. I think it's brilliant.
It is indeed, because it's making everything accessible for everyone. Well, thank you so much, Barbara.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for all your hard work, everybody at Hochanda and all the guys behind the scenes.
Bless you. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Bye.
8 a.m, bright and early. Bye.
Lovely. So that was Barbara joining us live via Skype. Whoa, it's been a busy hour. 60% of the stock gone. We will see you at 8 p.m.